Get a move on and focus in on the world of commodities where aluminium prices are at a 17-month high. Is there a recovery in store? What is the outlook? Let's get in better perspective. SK Roongta is the former managing director, Vedanta Aluminium, and non-executive chairman at Balco. Thank you so much for joining us. Just wanted to get in a little more clarity on the outlook of LME aluminium prices because we have seen a significant surge kick in. What is the outlook and what is the kind of price hike that you've taken?
So good afternoon. I think in the recent weeks there has been some increase in the aluminium prices in LME. I think there are few factors leading to this price increase. Firstly and foremost, there is a strong rebound in the demand and consumption of aluminium in Chinese market post-COVID. In fact, China today accounts for 55% or more of global aluminium consumption, and strong demand from China means overall global consumption goes up. In fact, China has been a net importer of aluminium for the months of July and August. Secondly, aluminium inventories in LME have dropped by about 15% in the last 3 months. That has also added to the sentiment of price increase. And thirdly, we have to consider in the background that aluminium prices have been lagging behind the other metals, namely copper and zinc, and to some extent steel also, which had stabilized much earlier post-COVID. And now aluminium seems to be catching up. So it's the combination of all these factors which has led to some uptick in the price. But we have to consider that it's not a big surge. It is only some kind of a recouping of the price losses which we had seen post-COVID in March-June quarter.
What do you think is causing this stellar rebound in aluminium prices? Perched at 17-month highs, it's been a clear one-way journey since the month of June.
Yeah, so I said that the major factor is the rebound in Chinese demand, and the future LME prices of aluminium will also very strongly depend upon the Chinese demand and consumption. So if the Chinese demand and consumption remains strong, then we can hope for strong aluminium prices going forward. The other factor is that input prices of some of the input prices have started going up from their recent lows. For example, alumina, carbon, as well as caustic, etc. And there is an increase of almost 10 to 15% from the lowest level which we had seen few months back. So that will also add to the sentiment of higher price because it will lead to upward pressure on the LME prices.
All right. I just want to understand from your perspective as well as to how you're seeing the demand scenario shape up in the country, especially as a lot of the automakers as well are now set to increase their production prior to the festive season. So what is your outlook on how we're seeing demand shaping up?
So I think in the domestic market also the demand is shaping up well after a slump in previous 2 quarters. In fact, currently the demand has come back almost to the pre-COVID levels, almost 95 to 100% of pre-COVID levels. So that's a good sign. Of course, in India, automotive demand comprises only a very small fraction of total aluminium consumption. We have electrical segment which comprises big aluminium consumption as well as infrastructure construction, etc. But yes, certainly, increase in the automotive production also is going to help the aluminium consumption. So going forward, we hope that normal demand pattern should emerge in the next 2 quarters as far as domestic demand is concerned. And that should help the industry going forward.
Question that if I look at this capacity, whether it is steel or aluminum, China has surplus capacity. Why suddenly the Chinese demand has come back so much?
So good afternoon, Ninkuj. I think primarily due to their stimulus and huge investment in infrastructure, and as far as aluminium is concerned, I think Chinese had shut capacity of about 4 to 5 million, especially coal-based power usage plants, and that capacity or smelter capacity has not come back. But I think we are seeing this strong Chinese demand not only for aluminium, for I think all metals, including for steel also. They have become net importers of steel. So as long as their thirst on infrastructure and construction continues, I think we can continue to see strong demand from Chinese. And they are continuing. I think their exports have also bounced to other economies as other economies also are recovering. So a combination of all these factors have led to very strong growth in demand in China post-COVID.
Closing comments. What is your understanding of where the European demand is headed? Because that is going to be the joker, so to speak, because Europe was the first one which was hit because of Corona, and now the second wave also has come back before the winter sets in, which means that when the winter season will set in, the seasonality or the Corona impact is only going to increase.
So as far as aluminium is concerned, I think European consumption is not very significant in the overall global consumption. And, their demand also has been recovering. For example, automotive or packaging, their demand is recovering, and automotive industry is coming back to the better levels of production. And even if there is a second wave or third wave, I don't think so that we can expect that kind of slump in production which we witnessed in the initial COVID days. So maybe there may be some restrictions on the individual movements and etc. But I don't think so the industrial production or the automotive production or the packaging demand for aluminium will be impacted. So I think we don't expect any surge in European demand, but I don't expect that due to any possible second wave or third wave, there will be a slump in demand as we witnessed in the initial period of the COVID.
Fair enough. Appreciate your time. Thanks very much for giving us a clearer picture on how things stand for China, India, as well as the outlook on aluminium prices.